Yeah.
If you see David, at least wave at us. Should we text you?
I texted you.
You're live. Okay. And we are at Village of Minerva Park Council Special Council Meeting September 14th at 6:30 p.m. And we will start with roll call. Councilperson Cost. Present. Councilperson Trustad is excused. Councilperson Camera.
Here.
Council President Wolf.
Here.
Councilperson Bruger.
Here.
And Councilperson McNamara is excused in the event he does not make it due to being stuck at work. All right. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We do not have any citizens, so we are going to pass citizen comments. And this meeting is just to try to get through some legislation since we have been down some council members the last couple weeks. So let's go straight to Councilperson Bruger for legislation.
Okay. Moving right along then. First is ordinance 26/2022, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2022. This is a second reading of this. The appropriations we're discussing here is $60,000 to order our new police car for next year. We have been in the habit these past few years of ordering the cars ahead of time due to backups in getting them. If we order it now, it'll be ready and we can pay for it next year, but we have to appropriate the money before we can order it. We of course don't spend it until we get the vehicle. That is a second reading and it has been read. Anyone? Awesome, moving on. Ordinance 27/2022, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2022. This is a much larger one. We've talked about this before, but I'll say it again in case someone hasn't heard. So this is for $271,000. Of that money, $230,000 of it is paying a payment on our TIF loan, mostly because MI collected their TIF money for the first 6 months, so we didn't get that money collected, and now we have to pay for it out of our general fund, which will then get repaid over the next 2 years from that TIF fund. And that is also, I believe, a second reading. Anyone with anything to say on that? Moving on, ordinance 28/2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into a contract to purchase a new police cruiser through the state of Ohio competitive purchasing program and declaring an emergency. Once we get that money, we then of course need an ordinance to actually order the car. That is the second reading of said ordinance. Any discussion? Okay, moving on. Zipping through it then. Resolution 2022-27, a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Amex Municipal Consulting Group for ODNR consulting services and declaring an emergency. This is a third reading. This is for no more than $7,500, and it will be contracting Amex Municipal Consulting Group for suggestions, ideas, paths forward, how about we say that right, on the lakes.
Storm sewer.
Oh, this is the storm sewer one? I apologize. The ODNR always throws me off on this one. This is for storm sewers. I'm sorry, just making sure. That is part of our 7-year cycle. That is just this year's for the whatever section of the storm sewer is this year. What section is that?
It's for the 2023 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. This is the storm sewers that is behind all of the houses on Jordan Road, all the way down There's a $500,000 project that we are interested in moving forward to get some funding for, hopefully 0% or something extremely low to fix the water issue that we have back there for all of the houses. And I don't know if anybody has any, let me let you finish that, and then I have
Oh,
to say about the storm sewers.
I had finished that, and if you wanted to talk
Nope.
about it, we should probably talk about it before we read it. I put it face down for getting
No.
over the third reading, and we're voting.
Nope.
So that was my fault.
Mine is unrelated to that, but related to something similar.
Okay, we can get to that
Yep.
after. Awesome. So this is for, looking at storm sewers like we do every year. This is actually for next year's round of storm sewer, which makes much more sense than trying to squeeze it in here in the fall. I move passage as an emergency.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any debate? Let's call that roll.
Okay. Councilperson Berger.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, passed as an emergency. All right, and here we have Resolution 2022-28. This is also a third reading, a resolution to authorize an advance to the Minerva Park tax increment financing, excuse me, let me start over on that one. A resolution to authorize an advance to the Minerva Park tax increment financing tax equivalent fund. This is the, this did not get fixed. And he's not here.
No.
Because, well, no, but this is 220,000, but on the previous one, it's 230,000. The amount on ordinance, and he even pointed this out to me the other day, unless it got changed somewhere. Ordinance 27, 2022
Is,
has the finance thing at 230, and this has it at 220.
Yeah, so why don't we pass it as amended and advance up to 230,000?
I
Just in
am-
case it's one way or the other.
I am fine with that amendment. But we do have to vote on that, so you proposed an amendment, I will second.
I don't think we actually have to.
Second, no.
We can just,
We can amend, we can amend,
you
well,
can nominate.
generally, when you amend something, you do have to vote to approve the amendment.
No, you just, we are stating that amendment, and then you will move to,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
passage with the amendment.
Yes, but you actually have to approve amendments before they go in.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. I mean, maybe not at this level, but at every other level of parliamentary I've ever seen. If you want to change the text, it has to be, but I guess we can say.
We could, that text could have been changed before you started reading it.
Yeah.
without any vote.
That is correct. All right, we also could have had that vote by now, because it's just a voice vote. So let's amend that, and Barb, I know you're over there, to make sure it says up to 230,000. And then this is where I again wish our finance officer here, because then we'll have to change in the amount of 115,000 each year, or up to 115,000 each year, to make it a 2-year payoff. Okay, so I move this as amended. And Mr. Camera seconded. Any debate on that?
okay. Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
And Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
All right, that's all the legislation we have for this evening.
All right.
Unless something got snuck in that I didn't see.
No. Okay. That is done. Let's go to whichever is first, old business or new business, because I lost my paper. Old business. Anybody have any old business? Okay, I'm just gonna say, I know it's been posted on Facebook, thank you to our police department for, getting the ball rolling on our mailbox people. And I'm not gonna go into detail because I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. So, I wanna thank them for all their hard work and getting all that stuff moving along, and maybe on Thursday, Chief can talk about it a little bit more, as far as where we're at and all that. There's something else I wanted to say, did you have something?
I think that's it.
This was about the Jordan Road.
Yeah, you're talking about the
Jordan
stores.
Road. So somebody had asked me whether or not they thought acknowledging, a resident had brought to our attention the potential of doing an alternate fix or looking into an alternate fix. And I am just bringing it to you guys whether or not you guys want to do even a voice vote, if anybody has any interest in moving forward with that, or if we just want to get that to rest at this point, if council has any interest in moving forward or not with that. And does anybody understand what I'm saying without being,
Yeah.
okay, I think everybody does. And honestly, it's just for, again, a resident asked me if we could do it just to either,
Yeah, so
Put it back.
we should call out that the
I'll let you do it.
most current engineering indicates that we require larger pipes than what exists today.
Correct.
So even if we were to just remove the repair the blockages, we still don't have a system that will function optimally.
Can I add something too? And the reason for that is because the pipes that were installed prior to a lot of the infrastructure on the other side of Cleveland Avenue. And so after those pipes were initially installed, the flow of the water increased. And because of the infrastructure, they no longer can handle that. So even if we fix the blockages, what you were saying is they no longer are able to handle the volume of flow that's coming from Cleveland Avenue or across the street from there, and we would still have the same problem.
Right. And so for those reasons, I believe that simply digging up blockages and repairing them is a suboptimal thing to do. Does anybody disagree? Does anybody want to speak on behalf of just digging up blockages? Or, I'll refrain from judgmental statement, right?
I think I'd feel more comfortable if we had a follow-up, if we could have follow-up questions or conversation with our engineer.
I think he's
Yeah.
already opined.
Yeah, and I think it's,
We're saying
just don't
things
know
that
that-
he has already said.
I think the consensus is that it is not an optimal fix, and sometimes it is seen as a pseudoscience. So there's not a lot of scientific data that.
Although to go with what Councilman Wolf was saying,
Yeah.
regardless, and I think actually you were as well, the pipe in question that we may or may, that somebody claims to know where the blockage is a 100-year-old 12-inch pipe. Nothing on this end of town was built before the 60s. And it wasn't designed to handle the density and the water anyway. We were talking about if we were just to do a pipe solution, what were they recommending, a 36-inch pipe to handle the volume of water going through?
So you just hit it on the head, that's,
And, that's not just 3 times as big because of the, squaring of the circumference and everything. Radius, thank you. That is a lot more than 3 times as big.
okay. So that is the only part that I wanted to point out, is the fact that the reason that we weren't looking to go forward with the $1 million fix is because it needed around a 36-inch pipe. And we already know that this pipe is much too small. So again, I just wanted to kind of address it in a council as to if we had interest in moving forward, making sure that people didn't have interest in that, and bringing more to the table for when our grant writer looks into everything, if we wanted to invest in any of that. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, get it on the table for what everybody wanted to do. And that was the only thing I had.
I just want to say that other contributing parties' hearts are in the right place.
Yeah.
That's all
Oh,
I have to
absolutely.
say on that. But
Absolutely.
I completely agree that the scope of the project is much larger overall than.
And I want to add that my concern is the longer we wait, the more property damage is happening too. So-
Yes. All right, new business.
So, what's next? Just bringing back up something that as a village we posted, and I hate that we post some things on Facebook every once in a while. But we did say to the residents that we were planning to replace some of the dead trees in the MI section this fall. So I just kind of want to follow up on that. Do we have plans for that?
We have, We have been in contact with Brad, which is the person that does that. He said he was doing it in the fall. I will follow up to find out if we can get for the next Thursday's meeting when. But he is already, that is one of the projects that he has on the table for replacing the villages,
Correct.
over by the basketball court. I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was up to 6 of them, that we had talked about. I'll verify with him.
Maybe we can go and identify them. with
So,
them or
yes.
something, and then-
So I had talked to him that there was a potential of up to 6 because somebody else had given me some, and I think there's 3 over by the basketball court. So there was in some other areas, so.
Yeah, that one little pine
Yes,
tree, that kind of peak it.
But we'll follow up and see if we can have an announcement on Thursday as to when we think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, fall's when the best
Yeah.
time to plant them, so.
Now, just for the record, that is ones that are on actual reserve land, not just the strip in front of people's houses.
Correct. And then I'm gonna say this in the, here as
Either
well.
way, but-
There's another tree that somebody has concern about, and we will be bringing Brad also out to look at that tree to see if there's any further work being done. And then he will make that determination if the village needs to move forward on removing that tree or if it is safe, if they believe it's safe. So that was, I sent that email last night. So I will follow up again with him tomorrow if I don't hear.
And then one other item, we had gotten bids from
Correct.
for the other ponds over there, but I don't know if we've ever discussed that. And that could be a planning session, but
I have a request for you that as soon as you get back, that we have a meeting
okay.
in regards to a couple of those things, and I would like to say that it's gonna be a non-pool discussion, and then we can have like an hour pool discussion, because actually there's a couple things that I wanted to talk with, in your guys' committee that I think all goes there.
Perfect.
So yes, that's all of it, and then I have one for you too,
Okay.
and it's just sidewalks. If we're gonna go over and double check all of the sidewalks, I went through there twice this past week, and there's a couple tripping hazards over there already. There's, some are like this far off.
Can we like level them? and-
That's where we are. Well, they're residents, so they're actually not ours. But we have a sidewalk program, and it's not something we'll discuss tonight, but it's something that we need to talk in a streets meeting, something other than sewers, and then yours, something other than pool. I have a couple things for that.
Perfect. Sorry, I just thought about old business. Did we ever find out about that crosswalk over by Minerva France? What was
Eric's
going on?
not here. I don't
Okay.
know what he found. She might know.
You mean the debris?
Yes, the
It's gone.
cover, it's gone? Okay, I missed it today. I freaking love it. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
Perfect. That crosswalk over by the elementary school, it's gone?
Someone had left, some worker,
Yeah.
or whoever, and it was cones, so people, like,
Right.
respected it and left them there. They're like, oh, these cones before,
Well, it's
but they're
funny that you
cones.
brought it up at the last meeting because I emailed Eric the week before about it, and then he went on vacation and he didn't, he never got back to me.
All right. Any more new business?
Move to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Uh,
All right, let's call it a day.
Oh, it's a day.
Okay.
And it's cold.
Sounds usual.